Preview.
The Killzone series has often been praised for its technological merits, but its artistic triumphs are often overlooked. Killzone Shadowfall deserves praise for how many polygons it packs into its most expansive landscapes, as well as for its buttery smooth performance. But now that Killzone has brought the fight back to Vecta, you could admire the series' excellent art design all over again, thanks to the gleaming blue seas and futuristic cityscapes that contrast so nicely with Helgen's red skies and grimy industry. This is a beautiful setting for a first-person shooter, and Killzone Shadowfall features much bigger environments than Killzone 3 ever did, yet makes them look far more beautiful than its predecessor's confined spaces. Structurally, Shadowfall more closely resembles Crysis 2 and Crysis 3 than any prior Killzone game, given its more expansive battlefields and vertical navigation. It's too bad that where those games pack their levels with exciting action sequences, Shadowfall's campaign forgot to bring the thrills. The basics are sound at least. Shooting and movement are exceptionally fluid, and each gun feels powerful as you fire it. Shadowfall also tries its hardest to instill variety. Zero-G sequences have you floating towards airlocks, and you avoid the watchful eyes of patrolling Helghast in a stealth mission. You move from firing at soldiers while avoiding high-speed commuter trains to hacking spider drones and initiating their self-destruct sequences. The problem is that none of these activities are particularly interesting.
A tiny herd! They're coming back! I don't care what they're gonna do, just get me out of here!
Helghast soldiers roam the larger areas, but there aren't many of them, and they're easy to take down. There are precious few large-scale shootouts. Instead, you typically face a small handful of foes who take your bullets and then collapse into a heap without too much trouble. More troublesome is how much time you spend doing relatively little but moving through the game's admittedly gorgeous spaces. Granted, many shooters take time to breathe between shootouts, but Shadowfall doesn't often use this time to build tension or deepen its world. Long sequences in which you don't do much of anything end up feeling like self-indulgent reminders of how wonderful the game looks. Shadowfall announces its potential in later levels where you have to avoid deadly robotic foes, and it's admittedly fun to use your flying attack drone to bring down shields before mowing the Helghast down. Otherwise, that drone is underutilized. You can use it to rappel to lower ground, but you don't often need to do so. And the game is easy enough on default difficulty that its shielding capabilities are unnecessary. One aspect of Killzone Shadowfall that's clearly superior to its predecessors is the story. As Shadow Marshal Lucas Kellen, you face the atrocities your own faction has committed. The surviving Helghast have been offered a new home on Vecta, where the two races are physically separated by a security wall and engage in an uneasy Cold War. Lucas is an underdeveloped hero who is only remarkable for what he does as opposed to who he is, but it's a lot more interesting to watch him grow than it was to listen to Rico and Garza's meathead chatter. Where Shadowfall's campaign eases back on the action, its class-based multiplayer options front-load the thrills. As always, Warzone is at the center. This mode allows you to mix and match various match types, and it's a total thrill. The Remains map recalls Killzone 2's finest online moments. Crumbling buildings and massive blast holes disrupt your line of sight and keep you looking up and down as well as all around. Penthouse is another treasure among the 10 maps, featuring a rotating core that causes its 4 entryways to open and close, bringing an extra tactical concern to the firefight. On these maps and others, varying objectives pull you into action hotspots, where up to 24 combatants vie for control. Shadowfall features 3 classes in contrast to Killzone 3's 5, though classes possess more than just 2 special abilities, and unlockable perks give you numerous ways to tailor your loadouts as you like. Additional flexibility is granted by an incredible amount of match customization. You can adjust matches in significant ways, and if you're worried about how well they'll play out online, you can always populate the match with bots. Mess with the number of capture beacons, change time limits, or create asymmetrical teams. One match might pit cloaked teams against each other armed only with sniper rifles and knives. Another might have everyone brandishing pump-action shotguns and rushing in for close-quarter kills. Whether you like a tense, careful pace or a lightning-fast tempo, Killzone Shadowfall has you covered. Shadowfall's disappointing single-player campaign sorely needed a shot of adrenaline. Luckily, Guerrilla Games remembered how to deliver a thrilling online war, and it's here that Killzone Shadowfall emerges from the rubble and soars into the skies.
You're persistent. I respect that. But it's in your nature to lose.